Okay, it's Monday, September 28th. I'm Tom Novak with your Bring Me the News and Novak Weather update. We're concentrating on a cool period here now throughout the week. This isn't unusual. I would consider this to be fairly typical as we head into late September now and early October to get this cooler Canadian air to flow through our region. But yeah, it's going to be cool, certainly through the weekend, the way it appears. And I've got some bad news for many of you for this weekend. We'll get into that here in just a little bit. All right, here comes the flow right out of Canada. This is, yeah, what we would consider a Canadian, classic Canadian upper level low now that is spinning over Ontario. And yes, on the backside of that low comes this cool, cloudy Canadian air with temperatures now well below average. And yes, we have a lot of clouds, some few peaks of sun. Get used to this because this is the type of environment that is going to be over the upper Midwest here for about the next 5 days at least, maybe even into this coming weekend. Here's that flow. This is what we call the moisture channel loop or water vapor imagery. And you can see these orange and yellow areas are dry air now that is flowing of the desert southwest, but it's moving east of us into the Great Lakes region as an upper level low now spins over the northern Great Lakes. And yeah, you can see the cool, moist Canadian air that is flowing south into the upper Midwest in this beautiful looking water vapor imagery here from outer space. Certainly a treat to look at if you enjoy weather. And again, this cyclonic flow and Canadian flow is going to be with us through this week and most likely even into this weekend. Better news as we head into next week. This is the rain that has fallen over the last 72 hours. So basically over the weekend and into early this morning. But look at where the rain fell. And this is actually some good news here in northeastern Minnesota. It's been really dry up here in the Arrowhead, and they got rain. In fact, some areas received well in excess of 1 to 2 inches. You can see the legend down here. Rain in excess of 1 to 2 inches over a good chunk of the Arrowhead of northeastern Minnesota. Of course, northwestern Wisconsin was hit with some thunderstorms over the weekend. But yeah, it's been dry now here over much of Minnesota over the last month, and not much help for the majority of Minnesota where very little, if any, rain fell this weekend. So yes, we are hoping for some rain. I think we're going to get some rain, maybe not as much this weekend or this week, but I think as we get into this weekend, we're going to get some rain. Now, here's of course, the winds at the jet stream level. This is the river there at 30 to 35,000 feet, and look at where the winds are coming from as we get into the middle portions of this week. Now, this is for Wednesday, and take a look at this. This is, yeah, a classic cold Canadian flow in our atmosphere at the middle and upper levels of our atmosphere, and that sticks around not only Wednesday, but look at what happens even into Friday and then even Saturday. Look at this, Saturday of this coming weekend, a reinforcing shot of Canadian air with a very strong jet streak now plowing into the Dakotas and Minnesota as we get into Saturday. That's probably going to mean a storm system is going to be on the way for this weekend. And finally, as we get into early next week, our pattern starts to change as our winds become more zonal, but that's a long ways away. But the screaming message here is that yes, it's going to be cold the next 5 to 7 days, but just hang in there because as we head into next week, I think our pattern is going to change. Look at the temperatures now as we head into middle portions of this week. We're going to be looking at temperatures below average, about 5 to 10 degrees below average by Wednesday. And then as we head into later this week, look at the temperatures. Look at the cold Canadian air that settles in to much of the country. Anywhere east of the Rocky Mountains is going to be unusually cold as we get into Friday with temperatures a good 15 to 25 degrees below normal from Minnesota on south towards Dixie. So yeah, this is a pretty cold air mass. It's going to be surging south through much of the country as we head into later this week. And yeah, the bad news, of course, like I mentioned, is that I think it's going to be cold this coming weekend too, with temperatures still a good 10 to 15 degrees below normal across the upper Midwest. And I think some rain is also going to come along with that. In fact, looking at the extended forecast from Bring Me the News and Novak Weather, here we go. The warmest days of the next 7 are going to be probably tomorrow and Wednesday, and then we continue a downward trend with, look at this air mass over us for Friday and Saturday of this week. Temperatures basically in the 40s, not only at night, but during the day. So there's not going to be much fluctuation in the temperature later this week. And yeah, I'm expecting what could be a potential rain out on Saturday. So not only is it going to be cold, but it's going to be damp and wet as we get towards later Friday and especially Saturday. And then finally, we begin to rebound as we head into early next week with, I think, temperatures coming near or maybe even above average as we get into early next week. All right, thank you for joining me here on Bring Me the News of Novak Weather. We will talk to everybody tomorrow.